Hey, everybody, welcome to another fabulous episode of the Suzette Speak Show. Now, we are going to be talking money today. So, if you're interested in new ways and new businesses in which you can invest to make, she says, millions of dollars, let's go. Today's show is the show for you. I met this beautiful lady who you see with me on your screen at an event about just over a week ago, a women's networking event, and what she had to say really intrigued me. She is a very seasoned healthcare professional. She has worked in corporate, and she'll tell you all about it. And she is now shifted over to helping coach people as she has become an entrepreneur as well in the healthcare sector, but not just healthcare concerning senior adults. Now, I am very curious about the prospects, and she's going to lay out all of the wonderful opportunities there are as we get to know her. So give her a warm welcome, Miss Corey. I'm going to call you Corey. Her name is Corlette, but I'm going to call her Corey Deveaux. Welcome. How are you, my lady?
I'm doing fantastic, and you look beautiful as ever. You look
I
fantastic.
appreciate that. Thank you, sis.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we bumped into one another, and I'm so glad you made some time to come talk to my fam over here. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're watching also on Facebook, we're simulcasting, so go ahead and hit the like button wherever you're watching this broadcast. And if you are, please, Team Replay, you know what to do. Say hello. Let me know how you feel about the content tonight, and we're hopefully going to bring you some value. So we're going to jump right into it. Good evening, everybody. If you are here, I see you, RM. Beautiful. One of my moderators here, working hard already. She says, hit the like button. Thank you so much, Miss AKA Lady. I'm glad to have you. What's up, Andrew
Hi.
Walker says, hello, hello. The people are in the building. Hey, JT Coin Rings. Good to have you. So we're here talking about coins today, you guys. And I'm sure you'll be interested in what Miss Corey has to say when it comes to all of her experience in business. So let's jump right into it. Corey, tell us a little bit more about yourself and who you are as a woman, as a professional, all that good stuff.
Well, everyone, I will say I'm Corey Deveaux, and welcome. I have been in corporate America for about 25 years. I don't want to give away my age, but I've been in corporate America working for large pharmaceutical companies such as Pfizer, Novartis, Alcon Labs. I've moved around the country working in sales and marketing and a number of capacities. And I decided about maybe 8 to 10 years ago that I wanted to do something. I wanted to step out of faith, and I wanted to start my own business. So I decided to go into the senior space because as I looked at opportunities, where there were opportunities to grow and expand and to really capitalize on the growth, I did research and I came across the senior industry. Secondly, as my parents were aging, I was thinking I wanted to get into a situation or into an opportunity that would allow me to care for them, but also to build my economic wealth at the same time. So
That's
my
fantastic.
background really helped me get into this. But I can tell you, if I was not in the pharmaceutical industry, I could still have gotten into this area and still be successful because
That's yeah.
there are so many ways to learn. Fantastic. Can you hear
I
me,
find that
Suzette?
is yes, I can hear you. Don't worry. The internet sometimes does what the internet does. We can hear you loud and clear. Y'all say hello to Miss Corey. Show her some
Okay.
love. Andrew says this is so real. Yes, we're gonna give you some of the insightful gems. People who are thinking about where the future of business is gonna go. Really think about. And of course, as an entrepreneur yourself, you have the firsthand knowledge of what it's like to be in an industry that specifically focuses on seniors and older adults. So tell us about how you got started. I know you started your own company, leaving corporate America in 2015. Talk about that journey and what made you decide to step out on your own.
Well, I left in 2014, started my entrepreneurial path in 2015, and I decided to go, as I mentioned, into the senior space because I had aging parents. I also am what's called the sandwich generation. The sandwich generation is someone like me that have kids that are still in high school, maybe in school, but also have aging parents. And so I was in that situation. And I decided that, you know what, the industry is booming. people are getting older every day. Nobody's getting younger. So I did some research and I found an opportunity. So I pursued it. And in 2016, I opened up an adult daycare and
Oh, wow.
built that from ground zero and sold it a month before COVID in February 2020. And I've been helping entrepreneurs ever since get into the space because the space, as I will share with you, it's a space that's growing and there's a significant opportunity to build economic wealth. That's why I'm here to help teach people how to earn and build economic wealth with the opportunity in the senior industry.
Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from her that she's done this type of work and entered into a space as an entrepreneur herself, successfully sold a business, which, hey, that's no small potato, so to speak. And now she's also showing other people how to get into this type of industry. So before we get into more of the nuts and bolts, let's talk about where you have seen the growth prospects for servicing our elders. Sometimes I think, we think of the caregiving side, and we can talk a little bit about that, but we don't often think of the business possibilities of trying to align ourselves and our investments, and gifts in a space that is showing lots of growth potential. So can you talk a little bit about that growth potential as you see it?
Absolutely. So if you look at the stats right now, there's about 21% of our US population that are seniors. That's a significant amount. And in the next 20 years, we will have about 95 million seniors. The growth of the senior population really means that we are going to need to care for our seniors. So as we get older, we will we will not be able to do the things that we used to do before. And so we slow down a little bit. We may not be able to feed ourselves. We may not be able to bathe ourselves, toilet ourselves, etc. And so when that happens, we're going to need care. Care can come in a number of ways. We can be cared for at home, or we can be cared for in a facility. That is the choice of the individual as well as the family. So if you were to look at this opportunity to provide care for seniors, it's a huge opportunity. That number equates to about, well, in 2022, the senior industry, the market was valued at $91.8 billion. And in less than 7 years, that $91 billion is going to increase to $140 billion. Now tell me, what industry do you know that's growing by $50 billion in the next 7 years?
Wow.
This industry is growing by $50 billion. By 2030, it is going to be valued at $140 billion. That is huge. And that is where the opportunity is. We have an opportunity to build our economic wealth for generations by looking at the need and filling the need in the senior space. And
it's amazing.
That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is, where is there a need and how can I fill it? And this is the need, and this is how you can fill it.
Yeah, I think, we hear about it. I guess maybe because we're both in Florida, we hear about the silver tsunami a lot of times, which is the baby boomers growing older. And some of them already have hit retirement age. And funny enough, or realistically speaking, some of them have already had these type of needs, which is not even getting to, live fully independently as long as they would have wanted to. They have had to realistically think about services and care and opportunities of either family members caring for you at home, or sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you really do need, depending on your aging process, like real help, like full-time help to come into your home. Or as you said, sometimes we're seeing some older adults who need full-time care, like at a residential facility. So what are we talking about when we're talking about that $90 billion now and $50 billion in growth?
In 7 years.
Yeah. What kind of jobs is it facilities based, or where is that growth mostly going to be targeted?
Well, it is really based on the individual. So if you look at the statistics, for example, you will see that 7 out of 10 seniors will end up needing care in assisted facility, 7 out of 10.
Mm.
So I would say that the opportunity is in the assisted living space. Now, you have assisted living facilities, you also have nursing homes, and then you have memory care. So there are different types of facilities that one could open to really take advantage of this opportunity and fill a need. So I want to take a step back and say that as an entrepreneur, when I try to find an investment opportunity to start a business, I like to look for the need and I want to fill a need. And this is an opportunity to fill a need. So essentially, when I guide my clients, what I say to them, to the family members, I also say to the business owners, one, to the family members, I say to them, first and foremost, do you want your mom, your dad to age at home? If they're going to age at home, you're going to need a caregiver to come to the home because it is very challenging to care for your family member as well as have a full-time job or take care of your children. That's a challenge. It's a struggle. So you will need to take advantage of caregivers to come into the home to care for your family member or to care for you, depending on your age. So that's one option. The age at home, you're going to need a caregiver. There is a significant need for caregivers in this country because, as I mentioned before, this is a $91.8 billion industry. And we need right now caregivers to help take care of our aging family members, loved ones, and friends. So we have aging at home. That's an opportunity. If you want to open up a home companion agency or a home health agency, that is an option. I actually had a home companion agency. I didn't tell you that, did I?
I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yes, I
Another
had a
aspect of care. Yeah. Mm.
I had a home companion agency, and I sold it along with my adult daycare.
Mm.
There is an opportunity to fill the need for those seniors who want to age at home, and if you want to fill that need, the option is a home companion, and there are different levels of care for a home companion agency or a home health agency or a home or nurse registry. Those are different types of businesses that you can open and that each one determine the level of care that you provide to the seniors at home. So that's aging at home. The second opportunity is aging in a facility. If the senior decides to age in a facility, they will need to go and move out of their home and move into another home that's like a group home where they can live with other seniors similar to them. The beauty of that is if you have a home, if you're interested in real estate, go and buy a house. It's as simple as buying a house and converting that house into an assisted living facility. And all you have to do is hire someone like me to convert that home into an ALF by getting state certified. Once you get the state certification, then you can bring in seniors, and seniors would live there 24 hours a day, and you would hire a caregiver to care for them in your facility that you've opened, in essentially a house to a facility. And that is where the biggest need is. The biggest need is for an assisted living facility or a house. I recommend getting a house versus this huge, ginormous brick and mortar location where it would, you would bring in 50 to 100 or 200 people to live in a location. I like the smaller homes because it's more cozy. It is easier to manage and staff. You actually have better chance for a lower staff to senior ratio when you have a small facility. So you're able to manage your expenses that way. So I can share a lot of tips and tricks about
that's amazing. No, let me stop you there because I have questions now that I'm hearing you speak. You guys welcome Miss Corlette Deveaux. She also, you guys, I wanted her to come present this as a possibility in terms of those looking for business opportunities and how to strategically place themselves, in a space of investing or even starting their own company. And I know we talk a lot about tech. We talk a lot about other industries. But when it comes to healthcare, as far as it pertains to seniors and aging, I don't think that conversation comes up a lot. So that's why I invited her here, guys, to talk about what she does and helping folks who want to explore their options in this type of work and business ownership so that they can understand fully what it's like and what it means to open whatever type of business that she described, whether it's someone who owns a facility that people live in or help to staff at home care. And I know actually another friend of mine who has a school that certifies like nursing aides, nursing techs, and things like that. So when we're talking about the healthcare industry, especially as it pertains to senior care, right, adult and senior health care, there are several opportunities. And again, just talking to Corey when we first met, I knew this was something I wanted to make sure people could kind of gain more information about. And I actually, guys, she has a conference coming up this week, and I'm going to allow her at the end to kind of just talk a little bit more about that, so that if you are interested, or if this seems like a good fit for you or someone that you guys can check her out. Check out what she does in terms of her business, helping coach and consult for people who are opening these types of businesses. But also, you are also kind of looking out for the people who are doing caregiving and who are relatives, daughters, sons, uncles, children, whoever of an elder and are at home and need support. So she also is very, very what should I say, broad in terms of her resources for people who are need help. That's why she is I would call her a senior advocate, entrepreneur, philanthropist, several other titles I could use. So as we get to know you, Corey, I want to talk a little bit more about folks who are hearing what you're saying, but are like, hey, I don't have a ton of money. I am not a nurse or a medical professional by training. That's the first thing that came to my mind. You have a background with pharmaceuticals. And I know you said anybody can do it. However, it might be daunting. Explain how people, or the capital that people need when it comes to trying to invest in this type of business. And where they should not worry, I guess, or where they might experience a little bit of challenge and they should plan.
Okay. So first, I must say that to get into any business, it does require some investment. If you are going to get into this, I always recommend to my clients that they need to have a business plan, because the business plan helps you identify exactly how much money you need to get this business going. I can't give a number because every single scenario is different. Are you going to lease? Are you going to buy? Are you going to get a house? Are you going to buy a big building? There's so many different variables. What does the build out cost? Are you need to put in sprinklers? There's so many different variables. So it's very difficult to give an answer as to what the capital is going to be. I do recommend that everyone, a business plan does a couple of things. It helps you plan your business. It's, if
simple,
you don't have a
right?
business
But people start business all the time without.
Where are you going? Where are you going? If a plan tells you it's your roadmap to your business and your business success, it essentially tells you what you need to open, what you're going to do to open, and how you're going to get business and fill your facility. What is that plan? Where are you going to put it? Why are you going to put it there? How many staff members do you need? How many residents can you get? And where are you going to get the residents? So it's a very detailed plan. And that's part of what we do. We help our clients put together a business plan. But whether you use my services or any services, no matter what business you're getting into, I always recommend that you have a business plan to know where you are going. Because you can open your business, but 6 months later, a year later, you may not be as successful because you did not have a plan. And I will tell you this, the numbers are staggering, the amount of businesses that fail the first year because of that very reason. So I recommend getting a plan. So once you get a plan, we can walk through the plan with you. We work with a number of resources to help our clients get to the end goal. So for example, under our umbrella, because we are a turnkey agency, we work with real estate agents, architects, lenders, We work with everyone under the umbrella to make sure that the left hand talks to the right hand, so that
Okay.
whatever resources our clients need to open their business, we have access to all of the sources to help do a warm pass so that everything is done um, timely, and it makes the transition from into assisted living facilities or into this industry seamless for the entrepreneur. Now, the other part of your question was, do you need to be in the medical field? At my seminar this coming week, there is a one of our speakers who had zero medical experience. We have a lot of clients that have zero medical experience and was extremely successful in opening up an
Wow.
assisted living facility and doing extremely well. He is going to be one of the speakers. So to answer your question, you don't need to be in the medical field, but you do want to have one, a good coach. And secondly, whether you're in the medical field or not, I always recommend that my clients take a ALF training, take a training class, and we have those training classes. I always recommend that you should know the business that you're getting into. Let's take a class so you can understand the business. Once you understand the business, you can either run your facility or you can hire an administrator to run your facility for you. But you want to know about the business that you are investing in so that you can be successful in the long run. And those are just some of the things that I recommend to my clients.
That's interesting. All great advice, y'all. I'm curious, when you have clients, are they tending to do this business in addition to what they're already doing? Do they keep their jobs, etc.? Or is this now their full-time endeavor when they open up a assisted living facility or ALF?
That's a very good question. I have clients who leave their job, who stay on their job, and everything in between. It is really individual choice. What I tend to do is I tend to assess and speak with my clients and look at the situation. I'm actually working with a client right now who is purchasing an ALF and in
Mm.
our area, and he doesn't even live in the area. He lives
Mhm.
in New York, and he's purchasing the facility. And the facility has an administrator. I'm going to work with an administrator to train the administrator to make sure that everything is the way it
Up to
should be
snuff.
for the
Yep.
state guidelines. But it really just it's an individual choice. The entrepreneur decides. I had another client who called and said, "Hey, can you help me find an investor? I want to open up an 80-bed facility." So we see everything in between, and we are here to help our clients and to guide them so that they can be successful. Because getting into the senior space, you will feel a need, and this need will help you build your economic wealth for generations. Because we're not getting younger. The need is there. All you have to do is fill the need by
Absolutely. Some good information, you guys. I see you in the chat. K Business Podcast. How are you? Fantastic YouTuber, as well as gives great business advice, sir. So I hope we are doing you proud tonight. Here. Thank you for coming through with Miss Corlette Deveaux. She is a consultant business coach who helps people get into senior care industries, specifically with helping them put together a myriad of businesses. But particularly tonight, we're going to talk about how to start your own company. And what I find interesting, and trust me, there are few industries right now across the board that have what I would call low barriers to entry. They don't always stay low. Let me just put it out, put it like that. This is not legal advice, but just as an observation, because nope, you got to do what's. Thank you, Hank. DZ says great information. Thank you, Hank. This is not for everybody. Now you have to know your risk benefit, cost benefit analysis, right? So we're not endorsing. Miss Corey is just giving information tonight. Thank you so much. You can always go into the description, check her out, do your research, and go ahead and vet. And she'll be happy to talk with you and give you more information about what she does and how she can help you. But it's good so that you understand that when there are low barriers to entry, like in this space, this is the time most consultants, coaches would say, this is when you get in the goods, right? Thank you, wonderful 34. I see you, Kent, on the Cash App, thank you for the love. I appreciate you. Good to see you, brother, and glad you are here. We're talking with Miss Corlette Deveaux. She has over, I don't know how many years you want me to say, but years in the healthcare
Yeah,
industry.
over
Went
20.
from over 20. Okay, we leave it like over 20. Went from corporate side to owning her own adult care facility, selling that, as well as other ventures that she has also started and sold. And now she is helping others who want to get into the space to understand it, not make those mistakes that everybody who doesn't understand this type of business can sometimes make. So it's a really great opportunity, you guys. And if you want more information, I want you to get into what you're going to be doing this week, because she has a conference, guys, that is coming up. If you are serious or if you're just exploratory, I would say this might be a good fit for you. Before we step into that, talk a little bit more about how people who are thinking about this type of business can better prepare. So business planning is great. Understanding again whether you're going to, in your plan, need to work still, or perhaps put all of your time and effort into this type of endeavor, whether you have the capacity to outright buy somebody else's who wants to get out of the business. So there are different ways in which I think people can get involved. So if we are not big time or big money people, is this something that people can still do?
Yes, absolutely. You know what? As I mentioned, I have a client who is purchasing an assisted living facility for almost $1 million, and he's getting a loan. He is not independently wealthy. He's getting a loan, and so this is an option. If someone
Mm,
wants to buy a facility, that's an option, or open one and start it from scratch, like I did. I started my business from scratch, built the business, and was very, very, very successful with the business. And so now I'm helping others do the same thing in the senior space.
that's
There's
what's up.
so I want to share something that I did not get a chance to share earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the statistics that I wanted to share is that when you look at the African American community, and you look at the Black community, the Black community has an incidence rate of 2 times as much. So Blacks are twice as likely to get Alzheimer's compared to whites or Hispanics. And so when you get Alzheimer's, we all know Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. You're not, that's where people start to forget, they get agitated, and a lot of times they're left at home because the family members do not know what to do with them. That is, that happens a lot, and it's very prevalent. So if you think about it, those kinds of clients or residents are the kinds of residents that you may want to put into your level 3 facility. You may want to just target people who have Alzheimer's. You may want to target people who are more independent but may not be able to take care of themselves but can walk and do certain things. So, there's just so many statistics that indicate the need for us to get into this industry and care for seniors. Where can you go to really say, I can fill a need, I can care for seniors, and I can make money at the same time, and build your wealth for generations to come and pass on something to your children. That is, to me, a gold mine and a fantastic opportunity for anyone who's interested in getting into a new business and looking for a new opportunity to expand, grow, and build wealth.
Sorry, I was listening intently. Sometimes I tend to, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Fantastic information. Topic tonight: learning and earning in senior care. Multi-billion-dollar national industry expected to grow by 50 billion in the next few years. We do have a large segment of our population called the baby boomers who are definitely going into this kind of senior adult stage of life, and they are going to need help. They're going to need, as we all will one day, oh God, if we are lucky enough to get there, we are going to.
That is true.
Sometimes
If
I
we're
think
lucky enough to
people,
get there.
we say they will, and then it's like our turn very soon. God, the
No,
great
we're well
equalizer here is
behind. I know.
time. Trust and believe. Keep living. If you're lucky enough and blessed enough to make it to old age. These are some real issues. I was just listening to an NPR piece this morning talking about, a lot more. I think it's like out of 5 households are multi-generational in the United States. And depending on where you live in the parts of the country, it might be even more. It might be 1 in 10 some places. But yeah, overall, this is comparable to like the height of when that was happening. So there's a lot of people who need help with childcare, but also that their parents need help as well. So you get these cross-generational households. Here in Miami is very common, of course, because you have the influences of different Central, South American, Caribbean cultures where that is very common. People don't look at that as like crazy. But also you have people, because of the economy and how expensive it is to rent and do other things, that, we especially here in South Florida, multi-generational homes are very common. So when you're thinking about that, even if that is a possibility, sometimes people do grow more ill than a person who lives with them can really deal with, or medically speaking, attend to. So it's great if you can, but sometimes when people have to work, they have to leave a caregiver at home or paid person, et cetera, et cetera. So there are stresses with that, guys. But the point I'm trying to make is this is a ongoing and, what should I say, a wide-ranging trend. So if you're hearing something that sparks your interest, whether it's in, this direct open your own ALF or any kind of adjacent industries, it'll be a way for you to make extra money or to invest for the future, as Corey is explaining, to build wealth for yourself. So if this is something they want to learn more about, tell us what is happening. First of all, when is your seminar coming up this week? When is your, I'm going to call it a conference, but when is your conference this week?
The seminar is September. I'm way ahead. It is February 8th and 9th. So this Wednesday and Thursday. It is virtual. It's virtual, and it is 2 days. And essentially it's 2 days because there's so much information that I want to share in there. And it is in partnership with the Alzheimer's Association. So the Alzheimer's Association and I partnered to really get the word out there and to educate the general public on what's going on in the senior industry. So we also have someone from AARP that will be speaking. We have Simply Healthcare. We have an attorney that's going to be speaking. We have a doctor who, ironically, did a study at the University of Miami, and he did it in patients with Alzheimer's, and he's going to be sharing the results of that at this seminar that's coming up this week. We have a realtor that's going to be sharing information. We have a pharmacist. We have a physician. We have an architect. So we have everything across the board. We have someone who has opened an assisted living facility sharing his experiences on how he did it, the challenges. He is the funniest guy because he will tell you, oh my God, I didn't know what I was doing. And it took me 18 months. And now he is like the king of training people on how to open up ALFs to avoid the pitfalls of what he went through. And that's the same thing that I am doing. We are doing it. We're working together because, when we learn and we make mistakes and we stump our toe, it behooves us to help somebody else coming behind us so they don't do the same thing. So their learning curve is actually going to be a lot shorter than our learning curve. So, anyone who's interested in even remotely considering opening up any kind of business, come to the seminar and just listen, learn to see if this is an industry that you may be interested in. And if you're not, that's okay. And if you are, you will not walk away disappointed because we have 14 speakers that will be sharing a wealth of information. They are all industry leaders, physicians, pharmacists, realtors, architects, people that have been doing this for a while to help walk you through the process. And it's live. You can ask questions. You can ask any question that you want. We've left time for questions. So we're here to educate, and we want to teach people because a lot of times we don't know what opportunities are out there for us. And whether we want to get into this or not, just say, this is an opportunity. I can do this. I can make $20,000 net a month just by having an 8-bed or a 10-bed facility. That's huge. Where can you go to set up something, have somebody else run it, and you walk away with such a significant amount of money every single month? That is huge. Now, let me just clarify that I threw those numbers out there.
I'm about to say, everybody like, what?
I'm just going to clarify that, okay? Every facility is different.
Yeah.
Every facility is different. The net profit on every facility is different. What I always recommend, obviously, entrepreneurs know, in order to have a high net, you want to control your expenses. If you control your expenses, your net's going to be higher. So we like to guide our clients through the process to figure out how they can reduce their net. And if they reduce their net, they will experience reduce
their expenses so that their net is larger. I knew what you meant, sis.
I have to clarify because I don't want anyone to misunderstand. Yes, if you control your expenses, then you have higher net. And so we help guide you through that process. And we bring expertise, and we bring our CPAs, and we bring our partners so that we can how you can control your expenses. Because at the end of the day, your success is our success. Because we rely on referrals, we rely on our clients to tell others how well we took care of them so that they can tell their friends, and we will continue to grow. And our clients are also happy with our services, and they are making money. And that's what it's all about.
That's fantastic. I'm again, not saying that, again, this would be a fit for everybody, but if this is something that you are open to exploring, you guys, this is a conference seminar, 2 days that she is part of. Alzheimer's Association, as she said, is co-hosting. Thank you so much, RM, for dropping it in the chat. It's also in the description of the video, y'all, so you can go back, check out her website also, and register if this is something that is of interest to you, so that you become a part of that network. Because I agree with you, sometimes the learning curve can be too steep and you run out of funds, energy, opportunities change, life changes, so that you kind of miss the boat, and it can be more complicated. So if you have someone that's going to shorten that learning curve for you and open you up to the possibilities of learning from someone who's been there and done that, I think that's an amazing opportunity, guys. If you have questions, guys, drop it in the chat, please.
Yes.
She is open. I know she's not shy. I'm going to put on my lawyer hat for just a quick second and ask about. No, I want to ask about liability, because, of course, you have people that are doing some great work in Florida, across the state. I'm sure there are tons of ALFs that are fantabulous, treat people well, clean, and loving, and not just what would I call it? Just cold, numbers game facilities for our elders. That really scares me. And so I'm wondering if somebody's thinking about this, but is kind of nervous about the liability, because of course people grow older and eventually pass away. So as an attorney, my first mindset is like, okay, someone is always going to be trying to, you guys see where you can find her, the DeVauxGroup.com. And then you can see the address there on your screen, or go ahead and look in the description. But I was going to say, my first instinct is like, people always are trying to point a finger when they're in grief, when they're experiencing this deep loss, and, grandma died, but grandma was really, really sick, or grandma's body gave out. And there can be high costs of litigation with that, and I've seen it, and personally, with my personal injury practice, where of course you only want to pursue claims that are legitimate and actually show what we call negligence under the law. So how does a business owner approach that? Are the insurance costs crazy? Is that something you've had to deal with? That would be my only, as I'm just thinking about it as a prospect.
Right. Absolutely.
Kind of small little caveat that makes me think, I wouldn't want to deal with possible litigation like that, because people are going to pass away. What would you say to that?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I have not had that in my facility. I do know that, first of all, I do have liability insurance that is required by the state. Let me take a step back. To open up an assisted living facility, it is it's not a federal program, it's a state program. So you have to get state licensing and certification. So if you have a facility, there's protocols and things and a lot of documentation that you have to write, and you have to keep good records. And that's one of the reasons why we like to train the administrator. So the administrator knows all of the documentation that is needed. So if someone as simple as a fall is a simple thing, but if someone falls, you document that. Every time someone falls, you document it and you report it. So it behooves these facilities to be sure that they provide an adequate supervision to avoid a client or a resident falling. What I can tell you is one of the things that I do and what I recommend to my clients that they get they open up what is called an RALF. An RALF is a residential assisted living facility. Every state has a different requirement with regards to the amount of residents you can have. RALFs are homes, as I mentioned before, that you convert into an assisted living facility. Some states say the max you can have is 12, some say 14, some say 16. It just depends on the state. When you have a residential assisted living facility, you have less residents. So you essentially have better supervision. So for example, if you have 8, some states say the ratio of staff to resident is 8-1, depending on the level of care that's needed. If they have memory impairment, then you would need the ratio shrinks and it goes down based on the level of cognition and then the cognitive impairment. So if you have a smaller residential assisted living facility, it's easier for you to manage and to oversee and to supervise your residents because if you have 12, you have 2 staff members there. Versus if you have 200, even if you have the ratio, even if you have the ratio based on the state, is, in my opinion, this is my opinion, it is very challenging to monitor and see what's going on with 200 residents in a huge brick and mortar location versus a home like my home where there's 8 residents or 12 residents and there's 2 of us. We know where everyone is. We know what everyone likes. We can give them personalized attention. We know their quirks. We know everything about them, and they get the love and caring that we can give them because it's a smaller facility. So I don't want to.
You can't get into details. You're all going to have to go to this conference because but I like to think about these things, and I'm sure other people who are watching, Team Replay, hit the like button. I'm sure other people who are watching are going to also think, well, what could go wrong? Where are some of the challenging spots? And I'm glad you're addressing them because, of course, ratios and what the law requires is like the big thing. As long as you are documenting as an attorney, I'll do the same thing. If I call a client, email, this is what we discussed, this is what I said I would do, and this is what I'm going to do. This is what you need to do. I put it right back in writing because people are going to say, I didn't hear you say, I didn't know that you said that. You didn't mention that. Of course I did. It's in the email now. How about that? So documentation, I'm sure. No, I don't play about mine because nobody's going to say I didn't, I was going to, I didn't know. I'm telling you we talked about, what we are planning, I'm planning to do, you're planning to do when we're going to meet again. That's it. Because I think a lot of people, sometimes it's not even, bad intentions. It's just that they're busy and they have kids and they have this and that, and they don't remember, oh, I did mention that, or she did say that. So I'm sure even in this case, when there are elders who may have memory impairment and cognition challenges, you will have to do all that. I see some questions, documentation. Now I see some questions. Thank you. Hank Deasy asks, do you have to have an on-site nurse at all time with a residential facility?
That's a very good question. You do not have to have an on-site nurse if you have a low-level assisted living facility. It depends on the facility that you have. So there are different levels. You have low, high level, and then you also have memory care, and then you have a nursing home. So it depends on the level of assisted living. The majority of the smaller homes are low level, meaning that the resident, and so let me take a step back. When someone lives in an assisted living facility, they're not patients, they're called residents. So when you have a resident living in your facility, typically they cannot things. They are called activities of daily living. And activities of daily living are things that we do every day, like comb your hair, you eat, you can feed yourself. Sometimes they're not able to do some of those ADLs. So if they are able to do some, they're able to walk, that may be considered a low level assisted living facility. And so you don't have to have a nurse. The nurse is dependent on what type of level facility you have. The memory care facilities, they have, you need more staff. You also need, there's a lot of supervision, and you may need a nurse if it's a memory care facility. So it really just depends on the type of facility
The
you have
type
and the
of
level.
facility.
So, a low-level facility, you don't need a nurse. You just need an aide. You need an aide and you need an administrator. That's all you
That's
need.
basic.
And the aide,
Basic.
you train the aide. They go through the training. They know how to feed them. Follow the menu. Everything will be given to them. This is the menu. This is what you feed them. Monday, Tuesday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything is laid out for you because it has to be approved by the state. So there's no variation about you having the
So there's
ability
no
to
guesswork. Do you have
none
parameters?
whatsoever.
When they eat,
Yes.
how they eat, where the food is prepared, how it's prepared. Good. I love that.
Yes.
Even as people who
Absolutely.
may be using these one day, I love the fact that the state, especially in a
Yes.
state like here for us in Florida, where we have so many seniors, we need these type of parameters. So those are laid out. Go by the book, and you wouldn't be in any problem. So the answer, Hank, is depending on the type of facility, and not necessarily if it's a low level assisted living facility. Thank you. Andrew says, I like the idea of having homes converted to assisted living. Yes. He also has a question. He says, do you work with couples, and are you able to have two different individuals in a single room? So I guess if it's two people who both need assisted care, time for help, can't necessarily stay at home, or they bypass that, can couples be in an assisted living facility?
All the time. Yes. Yes. So when you go to an assisted living facility, there are private rooms and semi-private rooms. So in this case, the couple would be living in the room, and it would be considered every place is different. It's a semi-private room. So you'd have two residents in there. Sometimes when you have a husband and wife, you as an owner may decide if you want to give the family a discount, but that's really up to you as an owner if you want to do that. But the answer to your question is yes, you can have two people to a room. You can have a couple in a room. We typically don't advise that you have a male and a female that's not related in a room. That would not be appropriate.
Liability, baby. Liability.
100%. I would not recommend that. Husband and wife, yes, that's fine. Not a problem. That's acceptable.
Yeah, I ain't running no business. I'll tell you right now, that's not gonna work. That right there, I laugh, but it's like a weird kind of nervous laughter because it's not because you don't want to stay away from all complaints. And speaking of complaints, we have a couple more questions, y'all. Get them in right now. We have about 10 more minutes. Get them in right now. Appreciate you, Andrew. Yeah, I have actually volunteered through a church I went to in the past, where I didn't realize what you're describing is what we went to. And it was like an assisted living facility. We just said it was like an elder home. And there were husband and wives there. In that case, I don't think they shared a room. I think they actually were across the hall from each other. I was like, what was that about? But then I have seen them also in a room together. But yeah, it happens. People age in place, as she said, or they age together, possibly with the help of caregivers. Thank you for your questions, guys. Rolling it in. Hank Deasy is asking, did your home does your home have to be ADA compliant? Thank you, Hank. I had to read that twice. Yes, I know what you meant. Yes. Does your home have to be ADA compliant? What is the answer to that? Or you can give us a general.
100%, Hank. The answer is yes. So on our seminar, I mentioned that I'm going to have an architect speak. That is exactly what the architect is going to be speaking about. The architect is going to be speaking about the build-out process, how to build out. So it's simple things like the doors have to be a certain width to accommodate a wheelchair. So yes, it has to be ADA compliant. You have to have grab bars so that if someone is walking with a cane or a walker,
or for the tub,
they're able to hold on. The tub, you cannot have a tub. You cannot have a tub. Seniors cannot get in a tub. That is the biggest liability right there.
Oh,
You
the
want to be sure
shower.
that
You can't do tubs? Oh, wow.
you cannot do tubs. You want to have a walk-in
No,
shower
it
that
makes
is
total
not.
sense. Now that you said it, thank you. Makes total sense because you would have to have a person
Yes,
get in with you. It will slip and fall. You don't want any of that. Understood.
it is.
So it has to be
Right,
like an
right.
open shower almost.
It is. It's like an open shower with a curtain. So that's where the architect comes in to give those recommendations. He can take a look at your facility, tell you what needs to be done, and you can go from there. But I think that's
So
a
a
really good
general yes, absolutely.
very
You're
good
gonna have to
question.
make it so, yeah, I mean, I know in Florida there are a certain amount of parking spaces that have to have, you know, disability or physically challenged people be able to park. Any type of business have to have certain quotas now when it comes to door
Hey,
spaces.
Hank,
Um, Go ahead.
mhm.
And
And by the way,
ability to
Hank, the
accommodate
state is not.
anybody who was in a position of ADA, falls under ADA. So yeah, no, very good question, Hank.
So I was going to tell
David.
Hank that
Oh,
the state will not approve a facility if it's not ADA. So there's specific things that we have to walk through with our clients on what the state requires for you to get approval. And that's one of the steps, one of the things they will look for to ensure that you get approved. So you have to be ADA compliant.
that's wonderful. All right, so that's a big yes. And you guys, thank you for watching. If you want to support the stream, you can. Thank you again for listening. Great questions. I see a couple more. We talked about this a little bit, David, but I'll just have Miss Corey Deveaux address it again. The David Carmena, I love it, show asks, what are the typical startup costs? So we did talk. Hey, so we did talk about it before, and I know she says it varies, but
Mhm.
as a person who likes the plan, I agree with you, David. You want to think, am I going to be able to buy another business outright from somebody? Am I going to have to start up from the ground up, buying a home, build out, or architectural changes, things like this? What other costs can we think about, even if we don't know the ballpark, because it depends would be the answer. But what are some of the costs, upfront costs that go into starting this type of business?
The state requires a certain amount of funds in the bank to cover your expenses for X number of months, and every state is different. So, as you mentioned, are you renting? Are you buying? What is the build out cost? Is it going to be a simple build out or a more complex build out? How many residents are you going to have? Are you going to have 8? Are you going to have 12? Are you going to have 16? That determines your staff. How many staff members are you going to hire? What are you paying? What are you going to pay them? Are you going to be the administrator? Are you going to hire an administrator? What is your food cost going to be? Are you going to have a vehicle? Do you want to transport them? Or do you want the pharmacist, the physician, everyone else to come to the facility? Those are questions that need to be answered so that we can build a business plan for you. So we can tell you, this is your startup cost. This is how much you're going to need to sustain your business if you don't have a client before, when you open. There's so many different variables. So it's very difficult to give a startup cost. That's like asking me, Suzette, I want to buy a house. What's my closing cost?
Yeah, how much are we gonna get it for? How much are we gonna make from it? How much I get? No, we don't. It's too many
Right.
variables. So I'm sure what part of the state has a lot to do with your costs as well. Of course, with the cost of living and real estate, depending on where you live. So I'm sure there's a lot of variables. Are you predominantly helping people here in South Florida, or do you help people in Central and North Florida as well?
Actually, we help people all over the country. We have
Oh,
clients in
wow.
Texas. We have clients all over the country. Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So learning and earning in the senior care industry. Enjoyed this conversation. Last call for any questions. David says, thank you for that. Myrna Mia says, hi, ladies. Thanks for covering this important topic. Keep pressing forward. Thank you, sis. This information is needed more than ever. Thank you for liking, commenting, or sharing after the video is done. After the show is over, you guys, you can go back and please comment so more people will see this entire stream. And we're grateful that you're watching with us tonight. So final thoughts as we prepare for your conference. And I think I told you I would be sneaking in and listening to a few of the sessions myself. You know, you never know, being nosy, or I guess you could say curious. I'm like, really? Let me see what you got going on over there. But I'm also really excited too, because, you know, there are just parts of, you know, South Florida's various industries, myself as an attorney also can glean from. There's so many parts of it that interests me. And of course, I have friends and even family that are looking at, you know, what are we going to do when our parents start aging? It's a real thing, y'all, and it comes when you least expect it. So will you provide in the conference any type of caregiver resources if people are dealing with trying to find for themselves in their own individual, you know, family situation, what to do with mom or dad? Will you have resources for folks like that during the seminar?
Absolutely. We are going to have resources. I'm going to provide resources. The Alzheimer's Association, all of our speakers are going to provide resources for the attendees, because at the end of the day, we want to educate, we want to share information, and we want to present an opportunity for our attendees to take advantage of this opportunity in the senior industry. You know, there's a need in the next 17 years for 1 million additional ALFs. So come on, guys. If you thinking about it, you're not sure, register for the seminar and take a look and learn about this industry to identify if this is an opportunity that you want to capitalize on to build your wealth for generations to come.
Man, we whet your appetite, guys. So do your research. Where can they find more information about you? Miss Corlette Deveaux is her name, y'all. And again, all her info is in the description of the video. You can go find out how to register from the conference, from her website, etc. But if people wanted to get in contact with you for more information, where can they find you?
Well, one, they can go and register on www.deveauxgroup.com. They also call our number at 954-795-1342. That's 954-51342. They can call us, and we would be happy to answer any of their questions and give them direction, give them resources, and help them in any way that we can. That is what we're here for. That is what we do. And we're here to be your partner and to provide education, but also an opportunity to earn and build your economic wealth.
Fantastic. You broke up a little bit. Say the number one more time, just so make sure everybody got it.
The number is 954-795-1342. 954-795-1342.
1342. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. It has been my pleasure to host this beautiful lady with me tonight, talking about her business and what she offers to the community, and giving us a lot, like I said, of food for thought for where we want to invest ourselves and our resources as a community to both help our seniors and hopefully, you know, help ourselves in business. I see a final comment here. Oh, let me see. This is, biggest thing I was going to ask you. Thank you for bringing this up. La Roche is in the building. My friend's ex-fiance was doing this, except her business involved assigning home health aides to patients. Okay. She had government contracts, very lucrative. She was killing it. Okay. You want to respond to that?
Absolutely.
Sounds about right.
That sounds about right. And I did not get a chance to tell your listeners that one of the reasons why I exploded and I did so well was because of the contracts that I had. I had a contract with the Alliance for Aging. I also had Medicaid contract. I also had an agency for persons with disabilities. So what I did was something completely different. And you know, people said it was going to fail. It wasn't going to work. What I did was adult daycare, and it was not just for seniors. Half of my facility was filled with adults with disabilities. So I had contracts. I had the Department of Elder Affairs contract. I had the Medicaid contract. I had a agency. I had transportation contract. So these are things that I want to teach my
What?
clients about all of the contracts that you can get to help you earn money and increase your net. Remember, the net is the big deal. So that is what
Yeah,
we.
my big question that I forgot to ask, I was like, who pays you? This is my question because I know some
Yes,
families can't afford it. Some people may have retirement or may have maybe long-term, what's it called, care insurance, long-term care insurance and things. So I was wondering, I'm like, for people who can't afford this, does the government allow for, payment? So I'm glad you answered some of that. But if you want to
yes.
just clarify, who pays you? Where does this income come from for the senior?
The income or the fee that is
Revenue,
charged,
revenue,
right?
yes.
The fee that's charged or the revenue comes from a number of sources. It can come from a resident who has had long-term care insurance. So long-term care insurance, if they have that coverage, they will pay. You can have cash. You can get paid through Medicaid, or you can get paid through community services contracts. So there's a number of different contracts and opportunities out there for you to get paid, but you have to know where to go for them and you need to know how to get the
Yeah.
money.
And how
Money
to
is not easy.
qualify. So it's not just necessarily out of pocket. And that I guess is good for knowing that if your parent is this person or loved one who may not have the funds themselves, maybe didn't have, 401k or a certain type of retirement, it's good to know that Medicaid, Medicare can help offset those costs and be a possible source income for bringing an elder into a space like this and hopefully taking care of them properly with love and compassion, the way we want to see our elders taken care of. So I'm grateful for you, Miss Corey. Y'all, we gotta go. I love the thank you again on the super chat. I see you again. Thank you, Al LaRoche on the super chat again. Thank you, Kent, as well, showing love. If you guys want to support, you know what to do. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of those who always support, watch, like, comment, and share. Really do appreciate each and every one of you who spend time with us here on the Suzette Speaks Show. I hope you found this show helpful and eye-opening as I did. And I will be attending, as I told Miss Corey. Thank you. Thanks to her. I will be attending, listening in, and seeing where there are possibilities when it comes to investment and what people are doing in businesses. I know, again, South Florida, being down here, is this is a main source of many people's income. But sometimes we get scared. We don't want to get into a business. We're afraid, honestly, because we don't know. So it's great to know there are people like Miss Corey Deveaux in this coaching space, business consultant space that can help you so that you don't go through making the same pitfalls that some people do. So I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you, Sandy W. Good to see you, sis. Thank you again for your kindness and your donation, Al. Appreciate you, brother. Tomorrow we're coming back, Miss Miss Genevieve. I forget her last name, Carvel, and it's hyphenated. We'll be here talking about crowdfunding, secrets of crowdfunding. I'm also going to have a show Wednesday. Beautiful young lady, calls herself the Minister of Art. Can't wait to have Miss Alfrina Musa on Wednesday. We're going to talk a little Harry and Meghan. If y'all still want to talk about Harry and Meghan, I'm listening to the audiobook, y'all. And I think I just want to get it out off my chest. So that's probably going to be Saturday. Some fantastic shows coming up. So if you are watching on Facebook, go over. If you're watching just brand new, go over to YouTube. Look up Suzette Speaks, just like it is on the screen. And please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you, Miss Corey. Fantastic info. I know you're going to have a successful seminar/conference, as I call it, the
Yes.
next, Wednesday and Thursday, y'all. So you guys have the information. You can look it up if you're interested in attending. And of course, if you can't make this one, I'm sure she's going to have more. So definitely check her out. Keep her in your Rolodex in case this is something that you find interesting, or that you want to learn more about, or possibly even jump into, like I'm going to like do my investigating and listening, like I said, to her fabulous panelists and guests all throughout Wednesday and Thursday to learn more about this opportunity. But again, thank you, Corey. Fantastic info. And thank you. Oh, look at that. Woo woo. Just subscribe. Woo woo. I was going to give you the
Good for
love
you.
it. Love it. Team replay. If you're watching on replay, awesome. Love to you as well. Hit the like button before you go, guys. And awesome. David says, thanks for the info. Glad you can watch. Glad it was helpful and insightful and beneficial to you. All right. Suzette speaks out. Speakers. Actually, I may do a quick Patreon right now. My Patreon community is my exclusive content, kind of inner circle that support what I'm doing here on YouTube and beyond. And I appreciate them. And I did let me tell you, Corey, this was really strange. I went to a drumming circle, full moon drumming circle last night.
Oh, wow. Oh, that sounds fun.
A friend invited me, and I was trying to take the Patreon along with me, but it was kind of awkward. I thought it was going to be a bunch of people, and it was kind of small. So, you know, when you have your phone and you're ready to be like, boop, 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 right, okay. But it's like a small group of like 10 people, and it's like, you don't want to put the phone on, you know, in people's faces. Oh, yeah. So I kind of want to explain to my Patreon what it actually ended up occurring. Ha 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 ha. My first and probably my first experience.
Not sure if it's allowed,
so exclusive content when I'm in these streets that you won't find on YouTube. If you want to support my content as well, go over to patreon.com/Suzette Speaks, and you'll find that type of content. Appreciate everybody again for supporting, and thank you, Kent, and thank you, Al, for supporting tonight's stream. All right, we'll see you tomorrow around, I think we're doing 7 or 7:30, Wednesday 7:30, and then every Saturday 12 noon. I say noon-ish, so you could come check me out. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Hit the like button on your way out. I'll see you real soon. And please like, comment, and share. Bye now.